Hello CLAT aspirants, wish you all a very happy Diwali. Now, this wonderful session will deal with a single question of Venn diagram based data interpretation. So sometimes, apart from 𝐸 DI, you might also consider or come across a DI wherein a simple problem is given to you, जिसको आपको convert करके एक Venn diagram create करना है. And based on that Venn diagram, you have to answer certain questions. Okay? Simple percentage based calculations will also be used here. So this short video is only to help you practice and understand better how to approach a Venn diagram based DI. Right? So this is the passage. You can just go through it once. Now, what is it saying is, in a society, there are 450 men. Okay. Out of these 450, 32% read the Times of India, 40% read the Economic Times, and 30% read the Indian Express. So we have 3 newspapers here. Okay. So we'll make those 3 newspapers in a Venn diagram format. You will always make set of 3 like this and set of 2 normally intersecting with each other. Now, this is the Times of India. This is the Economic Times. And this is in the Indian Express. Now, they are saying that 32% read the Times of India. Now, you tell me, is it easy for you to calculate 32% of 450? Or you can go the other way around as well. How will you go the other way around? Always remember, A% of B is equal to B% of A. So, if calculating one way becomes difficult, you can always go towards the other way. Now, what is 450%? 450% is nothing but 450 divided by 100. So this is going to be, don't take the decimals, rather you simply cancel it with 5. So you will get 9 by 2 as a fraction. So you have to multiply 32 with 9 by 2 to get your correct answer. Okay. So I'll multiply 32 with 9 by 2. So this is 16. And 16 into 9 will give me 144. So Times of India readers, there are 144 in all. Done? Now, the next is 40%. Either you can do 2 by 5 into 450. So 2 into 90, 180, or 9 by 2 into 40. One and the same thing, 20 into 9, 180. So you'll get your answer as 180. Simple. You don't even have to use your pen here. The next is 30% of 450. Again, 3 by 10 into 450. So 45 into 3. Or 9 by 2 into 30. So 15 into 9. That is 135. So now you know how many total men read each type of newspaper, but this 144 does not imply that only 144 read TOI only. This may contain people who read Economic Times or Indian Express or all 3. So when you finally start filling the Venn diagram, it always has to start from the middlemost area. That area depicts the intersection of the 3. That is those people who read all the 3 newspapers. Okay. Now, the question says further that 35 men read only the Times of India. This is not percent now. So 35 men read only the Times of India. So who reads the Times of India? 35 men read only the Times of India and Economic Times. Only Times of India and Economic Times means this region. Only this region. So this is 35. 36 read only Economic Times and Indian Express. Economic and Indian Express, this region. So 36 read it here. And 42 read only Times of India and Indian Express. So 42 means this region. Now you are not sure how many read all the 3. So you will assume that to be X. Okay. Now they also give you further information that 54 read only the Economic Times. So only Economic Times, here we have 54 people. Done? Now we can easily find out X here. If you look at this circle, this particular circle, which only belongs to Economic Times, how many people are there? 35, 54, 36 plus X. And the sum of all this should be how much? 180. Okay. So if you add them, 71 and 54, that is 125, and you subtract it from 180, you will get 55 as your answer. So X is nothing but 55. So I'll write it here. 180 minus 125 is 55. So X is equal to 55. So you can mention here now 55. Now based on this 55, you can calculate the other values as well. Okay. So we'll add these 3 now. So 35, 55 is 90. 90 and 42 is 132. 144 minus 132 becomes 12. Okay, and 42, 55, 36. We'll add these three. So we'll be getting 78, 78 and 50 will give us 128 and 5, 133 minus 135. So we'll have two people. So this is your complete Venn diagram in front of you now. Done? Based on this Venn diagram, we'll be answering the questions which are coming across. See, maybe forming and filling the Venn diagram may take a little bit of time, but don't go ahead with extreme lengthy or heavy calculations. Quant techniques in terms of CLAT is only about calculations and approximation. They never want you to go deep into concepts. They don't want you to understand complex formulae. They will not ask you questions which are extremely complicated. Quant techniques in CLAT is always simple and direct. All you have to focus on is how quickly you can calculate and how good you can approximate. Right? So let's see. I have taken this forward in each question as a digital image so that it is easier for you and you don't have to revisit this slide. Now, it becomes very easy for you to answer. How many men read all the 3 newspapers? So you can just, even by the time you pause the video, you'll be able to answer this question almost instantly. How many read all the 3 newspapers? It is 55. Okay, which is common in all the 3 regions. Next, how many men read only the Times of India? How many men read only the Times of India? So the answer is B, 12. How many men read the Times of India and the Economic Times? So you will say 35 plus 55, that is 90, because these people also read these two at least. They also read Indian Express, but the question is not asking you to not include Indian Express. So if the question asks you how many read Times of India and Economic Times, so you will say 35 plus 55, 90. If the question says how many read only Times of India and Economic Times, so then you will say 35. Okay? The next question. Okay, before we move on to the next question, since the wonderful festival of Diwali is going on, Adda 24/7 has brought for you a wonderful gift, a wonderful opportunity to go ahead and subscribe, purchase any course which you want, which can speed up your preparation. Now, for the same, you can avail a flat 50% off on all law courses and specifically law Mahapacks with 2x validity. But there is a catch here. If you open the application, you can see 50%, but if you put on this code, this 50% will increase a bit further. So you'll get an additional discount there. Moreover, if you put this code after downloading the application on the app itself, then there is an additional 1% discount which you can avail. So that effectively brings down the cost of any course and it makes it much more affordable than it already is. So go ahead and avail this benefit as soon as possible. Right? Now, let's look at this question now. Now the question is asking you, what is the difference between the number of men, those who do not read any newspaper, and those who read newspapers? Now, how do you know nobody reads newspapers? Or there are a set of people who do not read any newspapers? Because when you add these values individually, you get a sum of 236. And we knew that the total people in the society were given to be 450. If out of 450, only 236 are the people who are reading either of these 3 newspapers, then there has to be a set of people who is not reading any of these, and that will always be mentioned outside this set here, that is 214. Your question is asking you not how many don't read. The question is asking you, what is the difference between the number of men, those who do not read any newspaper, and those who read newspapers? So the sum of all these is 236. Basically, you just have to subtract these two and get your correct answer, which is 22. Right? So this was a brief attempt, a very small attempt for you to understand Venn diagrams and how to approach them better. These are the 3 set Venn diagrams. So if you get these questions, how to fill the data up, always start from the middle. Right? How to understand what each region represents and then come to a final conclusion. Right? So on that note, we'll end our video here today. Thank you. Stay around. I'll see you in the next video.